1580, your station, your voice, your city. Listen live at KBLA 1580 AM on our free KBLA 1580 app or on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
I know you waited for this one.
I know the world won't give me nothing, so I gotta take it. And I know it's a way we can win. Why won't nobody say it? It don't matter where we from, suburbs or the slums. They don't wanna see us winning, they'd rather keep us down. Could have a world, but we don't know how. Don't let them tell you that your vote don't count.
First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do, okay y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't never even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The state house make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the third branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back, grocery store food better, custody of your kids back, homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters. Me and you, somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the polls.
I know the world won't give me nothing, so I gotta take it. And I know it's a way we can win. Why won't nobody say it? It don't matter where we from, suburbs or the slums. They don't wanna see us winning, they'd rather keep us down.
All right, let's go ahead and get it started. California statewide primary election is one of the most watched elections across the country right now. It's an election that's for the history books, and tonight we're here to get some clarity. I'm Dr. DeCordeli Corte, host of A More Perfect Union, weekdays here from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time here on KBLA Talk 1580, and I'm joined with my fabulous colleagues, the Dominique DePrima, joining us here on the dial, and Adrian Shropshire, joining us here on the dial as well. We are live, and you will have us with you from 8 to 10 p.m. 8 to 10 p.m. We're going to be co-anchoring your election night coverage here on KBLA Talk 1580. The marquee contest here in California is the gubernatorial race. One that will finally tell us who will succeed the term-limited Governor Gavin Newsom. There are more than 60 names, count them, 60 names on the ballot, but 3 candidates have separated from the pack. Former Fox News host Steve Hilton, former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra, and billionaire environmentalist activist Tom Steyer. Let's just put it in the plain language. You got a Republican media personality, a seasoned Democrat who served in 2 administrations, and one of the wealthiest environmentalist advocates in the country, all fighting to lead the biggest state in the nation. Adrienne Shropshire, what are you hearing on the internet streets and on Main Street?
Well, the 4th largest economy on the planet, as a matter of fact, is what they are fighting to lead. I mean, I think that one of the things that I have, and we were talking about earlier, one of the things that has stood out to me the most over the last several months really is, an overall lack of urgency on the part of voters in general. I think we saw, particularly even after, we come into a race where people were very much not paying a whole lot of attention, weren't that engaged. We had the controversy with the Swalwell allegations. He drops out, people panic and go into oh my God, we're going to have 2 Republicans as the general election contestants, and then people sort of start to pay attention, and it's been interesting to watch people though hold onto their ballots into the very last minute, really trying to decide, what do I do here? Many of those people were Democrats, and so obviously those votes are going to be split between Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer, but it would be interesting to see how many people decided that they just couldn't engage. Yeah,
and early polling shows that Javier Becerra is leading the race, with Steve Hilton and Tom Steyer trailing behind. ABC7 is reporting that the polls are conversations, not verdicts. The people are speaking tonight. And then, of course, right here in Los Angeles, right here in the City of Angels, the race for LA mayor has become a 3-way contest between Mayor Karen Bass, Councilmember Nithya Raman, and former reality TV star Spencer Pratt. Dominique DePrimo, what are you hearing on not just the internet streets, but on Main Street? What are you hearing on Crenshaw about the mayor's race?
Well, I'm sure that there's like another 11 candidates that would not like to hear you say it's a 3-way race, including Reverend Ray Wong, who was polling in the latest LA Times poll at 9%, which is a pretty good showing for what would be considered a long shot candidate. But your point is taken. Those 3, 2 of those 3 will make it into the runoff. Interesting, I had a caller today, African-American man who's been calling me probably 15 years on different radio shows, and he was angry at the mayor because of the fire in Altadena, which of course she's not the mayor of Altadena, but that was concerning for me because it speaks to a kind of chatter and mis and disinformation that can impact this race. On the other hand, in the voting streets, the various polling places that I've driven by or actually participated in one today, and on my walk up at the Baldwin Hills, Vista, I heard a lot of people in our community talking about Karen Bass. And in fact, I heard one woman coming out of the polling place that I went into who said, I don't know any of the other stuff on this ballot. I just went in there to vote for Karen Bass, and I'm out.
And this is a serious ballot. I mean, I have my sample ballot right here, and I've been voting in D.C. for almost the past 10 years because it's been my primary residence, and so I just re-registered after having moved back here to L.A. And, this was the welcome home packet.
Well, I call it the SAT because that's what it's like.
It felt taking that way.
Filling in your little bubble.
It really did.
And it just never ends. And if you're looking for your gubernatorial candidate, it's 2 pages long. But I don't know if maybe it's a lack of urgency. Maybe you've seen some data I haven't seen, Adrian. But to me, it's indecisiveness.
Yeah, I think
because that's
right.
what I did.
Yeah.
I'm going eeny, meeny, miny. No. Dominique, let's think this through. And then I think we're out overthinking it because people are saying, well, if I vote for this one, then that one advances. Like people are, vote for Steyer if you want, Becerra, and vote for Hilton if you want Steyer, and vote for Raman if you want Pratt. I mean, it's like
everyone's a political strategist.
All of a sudden,
all of a sudden, that feels exactly right. And I feel like there's lack of urgency on the city side, and I feel there's indecisiveness at the state level, right? And I think it's probably because people are trying to game out, the impact of their vote. I think that's exactly right. I did see a lot of people studying that, though.
Yeah.
Like my son is a college student, and the amount of back and forth with his his colleagues about trying to understand the ballot. They looked at the voter guide, the progressive voter guides. They made their decisions outside of the choices that were given there. But I think people were actually, part of the indecisiveness is the length of the ballot, and people actually sincerely trying to think about, what do I do?
Yeah, and also think about the number of measures that were there. Some of them seemed a little duplicative. Of one another, so you had to really sort of zero in and pay attention. But you're right, it did feel a lot like the SAT when I voted yesterday with my honey right here in Los Angeles. When we come forward, we are digging through all the narratives that are out there, all the spin. We're going to cut through the spin. And we're also going to provide you with live election updates. We are here with you. We're your one-stop shop from 8 to 10 p.m. We are live here in our KBLA headquarters with the Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First, and Adrian Shropshire, the host of the Black Pack. I always want to say the Brat Pack.
Yes.
I wanted to say also, we have one of our colleagues, Dr. Melina Abdullah, standing by at the party for gubernatorial candidate Javier Becerra. So we'll check in with her when we come forward as well.
You're listening to our special election night coverage. More when we come forward.
Disagree without disrespect. Make your point and keep it pushing.
Let's do this.
Listen and learn or talk and teach. Talking and listening around the clock. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all did it!
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man! At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't blow blacked down.
You are listening to our special election night coverage right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, host of A More Perfect Union, weekdays 4 to 6 right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm joined with Adrian Shropshire, who is the host of The Black Pack, also here on KBLA Talk 1580 every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, and the Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First, right here on KBLA Talk 1580, weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. She's got the earliest shift. Dominique, listen, are there any predictions? Any predictions for tonight? I feel like the world is watching California as we watch so many other states. Why is there so much interest in the California mayor's race and the California gubernatorial race? What is this signaling to the country and to the world?
Well, we are the beacon of Democratic. We're the biggest blue state. We're the blue Godzilla, and if you think about it, Trump has made a sport out of hating Gavin Newsom, which is going to make the MAGA folks interested in who our next governor is. And then Democrats, people that are looking for the resistance or some signs of hope in our nation, are going to be looking to us too. Who are we selecting to sort of lead the Democratic offensive, I guess, if you will, against this president and his administration and his policies? And then when it comes to LA, I mean, come on. The fires has become, while there are lots of legitimate issues, the fires have become a magnet of white grievance. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, the president went out of his way to disrespect our mayor, which instantly makes it a national issue. Elon Musk was dissing her on his huge platform, calling Mayor Bass a Karen, which is really ironic coming from, Mr. Apartheid poster boy. And so they've made it symbolic of something bigger. And then you've got the tech bros putting dollars into Spencer Pratt, Sergey Brin, the owner of Google, ponying up a bunch of money, I think it was yesterday, for Spencer Pratt. And so it's the same donor base. It's the same people that were sitting on the dais at the inauguration that are backing this guy. His playbook is very Trumpian, a guy who's never held office, a reality show guy, who in any other year would have been disqualified just by the shenanigans, losing $10 million, selling crystals, hospitalizing his sister allegedly for beating the crap out of her, according to her. So it's very Trumpian, and Trump has put his stamp of approval on it, and it's colorful for sure.
We are now joined by Dr. Melina Abdullah. Dr. Melina Abdullah is the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. She's also the co-host of Black Lives Matter, This Is Not a Drill, here on KBLA Talk 1580 every weekend. Welcome, Dr. Melina.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Nicordelai and Dominique, and appreciate being with you.
Yes. We are all here. Adrian is here, and
Adrian.
And yes. You are at the could-be victory party for Javier Becerra, who's running for governor. Tell us, what are you seeing and what are you hearing as folks gather for what they hope is a victorious night for Javier?
The thing that I'm feeling is just a lot of energy. There's a lot of great folks in the room. One of the only people I've ever called my leader, Yvonne Wheeler, is here, president of the LA County Federation of Labor. She's here. Dolores Huerta is here. Lots of social justice and labor folks are in the space. But we're also hearing, we don't want to assume victory real early because we don't know. We don't know. I think Dominique summed it up. We don't know what's going to happen with the governor's race. I think that if you look at the latest polls, Javier Becerra was in the lead. And it seems that he has a good pathway to victory, at least, to win one of the top two slots in the primary. But we don't know what will happen tonight. Anything could happen. And, there's just a lot of folks who are wanting to see change. What's coming up in conversations with people is the electoral process itself. So I've had really great conversations with folks about how do we get to get candidates in who represent our values and our vision. And we've been talking about things like ranked choice voting and getting money out of politics and publicly funded elections. And so those are all conversations that are swirling about in this space, which is really full and very lively and exciting. But we don't know what's going to happen, of course.
You know, someone made a great point this morning on my show, which is that we have to remember that early votes coming in are going to be more conservative. Most of the Dems waited, and so it's going to look better for Republicans and more conservative candidates. It may look like the mayor is getting wiped out. It may look like Hilton is leading. Right now, I'm on the registrar recorders, and what they have. But this is only a couple 100,000 votes here, is Becerra up by 29%, which I think is interesting given that the conservative votes are coming in first.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Adrian?
And well, I think that I had a question for you, Melina, but I wanted to also just say again with a small amount of votes in, I'm actually looking at the New York Times tracker, and in the mayor's race they have Mayor Bass up right now with 38%, followed by Spencer Pratt at 28%. But I was wondering, Melina, what the crowd is like. You know, we've heard a lot over the last few years about last few months that have felt like years about what types of constituencies were engaging and not engaging. And there was questions about the number of undecided black voters, for example, in the governor's race, questions about whether or not younger voters were going to engage and weigh in. What does the crowd look like right now at the Becerra watch party?
There is a strong turnout of Latinx voters. I mean, we have the chance to elect the first brown governor of the state of California. So, of course, there's a lot of excitement about that possibility. There's also a strong presence from labor, but labor is actually split, right? So we have some unions who are endorsing Steyer, some who are endorsing Becerra. And so it's really interesting to kind of watch that breakdown. Again, the president of our County Federation of Labor is here, SEIU is here, California Faculty Association is here, which is my labor union. But the crowd is all kinds of folks. There's lots of elected officials here. But again, you have really kind of iconic organizers and impactful organizers like Dolores Huerta here. We have some leaders in the queer and trans community. Planned Parenthood is here, recognizing what Becerra did in his role as HHS secretary to protect women's bodily autonomy. And so the crowd is really mixed. It's a big cross section.
You know, I'm looking at the Secretary of State's election results here that are coming in, and to your point, Dominique, Javier Becerra has just under 25% of the vote, 25% of votes counted thus far. But Steve Hilton, Republican Steve Hilton, Fox News host, 27.7% of the vote that's been counted thus far. Tom Steyer at 18.5%. Now,
those are statewide, because what I was quoting was
you were looking at LA County.
LA County, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So statewide, this is what it's looking like. But if we drill down even further, we see Katie Porter. Katie Porter has looks like 4.5%.
She's tracking at 5% in LA County, so that's quite a fall.
Yeah. 4.7%. It just refreshed. 4.7% for Katie Porter, and just under 1% for former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. Just under 1% for Betty Yee. Just under 1% for them.
Yeah, Swalwell is getting almost 1%, and we see what happened with him. So yeah.
But I guess my question is, in the event that this election is close, right? How likely is it that these folks will be blamed for not getting out of the race? There were a number of candidates, who, when faced with that question by Rusty Hicks, the California Democratic Party chair, among others, to get out of the race, they said, wait a minute, but we have, anywhere between 14 to 20% of undecided voters, and the top contenders are within the margin of error. And so that was the pushback that we heard, right? If this race for governor is that close for those top two slots, is there enough blame to go around, or will these candidates sort of live to fight another day in another race?
I mean, maybe. I mean, we have to look at, you're talking about small percentages, right, that some of these candidates are getting. And so I'm not sure that the amount of votes that they're getting are going to be decisive enough to say that they kept another Democrat out of the second slot, because that's really the race I think that we're talking about right now, right? Is it Hilton or Steyer that gets into that second slot? That may be the case, but we've been talking about that, right, since the beginning of the race, about was there too many people in. But I also think that we should also be paying attention to the fact that a lot of Democratic heavy hitters in this state, Nancy Pelosi, Governor Newsom, Vice President Kamala Harris, did not weigh in. Right? They could have put their thumb on the scale for one of these candidates.
Adrian, I'm sorry. Can you say that again for the people in the back?
I'm suggesting that perhaps if they really wanted to clear the field, the field could have been cleared. But there were those who hold weight in this state within the Democratic Party who simply did not. There was no endorsement from the major Democratic heavyweights in the state. And so, if we're going to look at why someone didn't break out sooner or why there weren't two in the top, there are a lot of questions that could be asked.
I mean, and as Tavis pointed out when we were talking on his show the other day, the fact that no one from the Biden administration endorse Javier Becerra is just weird.
Not even the former president?
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I think this is going to be really interesting, in part because it's not just a show of strength on the airwaves. We know that Tom Steyer, has probably broken some record in terms of the amount of ads he's purchased. But, I think ground game is really going to matter here. Dr. Molina, talk to us about what you've been hearing in the streets in terms of the organizing muscle, and if there are any predictions that you might make just zeroing in on that aspect of the race.
Well, I think that labor has been really pounding the pavement to get its candidates elected. And so we've had folks who are in organized labor who, organize with us in Black Lives Matter grassroots and aren't able to come out to demonstrations and protests because they are pounding the pavement for their unions in these days leading up to the primary. And so I think there have been a lot of doors knocked, a lot of calls made, and that's all going to have an impact. One of the things that's being said around the room tonight is people are not afraid of a Steve Hilton, Javier Becerra general, because this is California. Nobody's going to vote Steve Hilton in as governor. I keep reminding them that we did have Schwarzenegger, right? And in the not too distant past.
And Pete Wilson.
Right. That's right. And so,
but Tupac was alive then, so that was a while ago.
That was some time ago.
Dr. Molina, right. I want you to hold that thought. We are live here. You're listening to your KBLA Talk 1580
I think she's got to leave us, Dr.
Election night coverage. You have to leave us, Dr. Molina. Dr. Molina. I think.
Yes. I got to get back to the party.
Okay.
I'll hit you from the next one, though.
All right, she'll hit us from the next one. You're listening to and streaming KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Where the overlooked become unmissable. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. New York City Mayor Mamdani is not ruling out screen time limits for students in school.
I'm looking forward to considering any additional suggestions there are.
It comes as Governor Kathy Hochul proposes limiting laptop and iPad use for elementary students during class. Community groups in Dayton, Ohio are calling for unity after a violent weekend left one person dead and others hurt in several shootings. Dayton's NAACP president wants the city to expand its violence interruption program, while Racial Justice Now says gun violence should be treated as a public health crisis. And star sprinter Clara Adams, who is black, is suing the California Interscholastic Federation after being stripped of her gold medal last year. Adams won the 400-meter state final at 16, but was disqualified for briefly spraying her shoes with a fire extinguisher during her celebration. The move drew protest from the NAACP. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Every day on KBLA Talk 1580, it's like a live town hall meeting over the airwaves. Politics, culture, community, justice, nothing is off the table. We take more listener calls, spark more honest conversations, and challenge more assumptions than any talk station in Southern California. Because good ideas matter more than ideology. KBLA Talk 1580, your station, your voice, your city. Listen live at KBLA 1580 AM on our free KBLA 1580 app or on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, I just wanna focus on my vote. I ain't got no time, I gotta work. Yeah, rent is coming up, I need this cash. Plus I got a couple terminations in my past, yeah. Gotta ask my bosses for a day off. But if I do, I know I might get laid off. I just wanna focus on my vote. I just wanna focus on my vote, yeah. Cause now I'm holding up, but I ain't know so many things were gonna hold me up. Wanted to rock the vote.
We all need to rock the vote, and that's what today is all about. You're listening to and streaming your very special election night coverage here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, host of A More Perfect Union here on KBLA Talk 1580, joined with the marvelous Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First here on KBLA Talk 1580. She's got the morning shift. I have the afternoon shift, but we are right here rocking with you as California votes. And a number of other states across the country are voting and have voted. And we'll be sharing those election returns throughout our hour and a half remaining together. But it's not just us. We're now joined by our friend and brother and colleague, Jarrett Hill, the former president of the Los Angeles National Association of Black Journalists chapter. He is an artist, a journalist, and has his finger on the pulse of what is afoot here in California and elsewhere. Jarrett, welcome to our special election night coverage.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And so, what are you tracking most closely this election night here in California and in other hot races across the country?
Yeah, I got to say, Dominique, I was on your show probably 2 weeks ago, and I was saying that I felt uniquely unprepared this election, whereas over the years, I feel like I'm always so tapped in with all of the various different races that are happening where I am. And I felt this year, overwhelmed by all of the candidates and all of the issues, whether we're looking at things from a national perspective or from a state perspective, but also just kind of overwhelmed with how to process all of this information. And so this year I felt uniquely unprepared. And so when we were talking about it on Dominique's show a couple of weeks ago, Dominique, you were talking about the strategy of thinking about what looks possible, right? Who we can make sure that we don't have two Republican candidates. And that was something that really stayed with me as I was thinking about all of these various different candidates. And I know for myself, I tend to look across various different voter guides from different groups that I trust and believe in, and I'll, obviously research the candidates that make sense to me as someone that I would be considering. But this year, I was looking at those different places, and many of them didn't have endorsements, and so it's felt really unique and frustrating this year as a voter.
Well, I think it's really important for us to remember. I'm looking at these numbers, and I just have to keep reminding myself that the conservative votes come in first. And most of the time when you look at these early counts, most of the time they mean nothing. But the other thing that I'm concerned about, and that the Secretary of State was concerned about when she was on my show this morning, is that because it's going to take several days, maybe even over a week, to get final tallies in some of these races, that's when all the Republican chatter about cheating comes in. The fact is, a lot of people waited to the last minute, even myself, because they weren't sure. Like you're saying, Jared, they weren't tracking all this. It's a really long ballot. People weren't sure which way to go with governor. And so it's going to take a while before we have final answers in some of these races. And I don't know how we avoid, the president's going to jump on that. Oh, the absentee ballots, and it's all cheating. They're cheating, especially if Pratt and Hilton don't make it into the runoffs.
Or if they're blown out.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I would argue that, yes, that is something I'm concerned about, but I would imagine they were going to do that regardless, right? Like, it would just make a difference of whether they do it tomorrow or Friday. You know what I mean? And I think that one of the things that has been so difficult is, like, I grew up in debate team. I was in debate all 4 years of high school and 2 years of college, and, like, I realized later on in life that I'm always like, what's the counter argument, and how can I, and, like, trying to do that with them now just feels so frivolous, because, like, they will do anything, no matter what it is, no matter how outrageous it is. They will make it look like you didn't see what you just saw. They will rewrite the history. They will craft the narrative. So, like, it's hard to know how to combat against that, you know?
Well, right now, the Secretary of State, speaking of the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State website is reporting that with almost 13% of the election night precincts partially reporting, Javier Becerra at just under 27%, Steve Hilton at just under 26%, Tom Steyer just under 20%. So we're already starting to see these numbers sort of start to tighten a little bit. According to the polling, most recent polling, I'm thinking of the Emerson poll that came out recently, it showed basically a statistical dead heat for these three candidates, for Tom Steyer, Steve Hilton, and Javier Becerra. And so we're going to watch this thing play out. There is a chance that you might see a Becerra-Steyer top two.
And most progressives want to see that.
Duking it out between now and November.
If we get Steyer and Becerra, at least we get to talk about, progressive issues rather than just, oh, no, let's not have Trump in California. We can really get into the weeds about health care for all and things like that. And I think all of us are a little burnt out on, vote for this person or else you get Trump. Like, can we get some subtleties? Can we get some real policy conversations? I think that's what happens if you get a Becerra-Steyer matchup.
And one of the conversations that voters have been having on the campaign trail is around health care. We know that health care costs are going up, and up each and every year, somewhere between 10 and 12%. We've heard all the candidates in this race say that that's not sustainable, but few candidates have said that they would support single payer. And some candidates have been a little squirrely around single payer.
Tom Steyer has supported it. I don't. Becerra, as far as I know, is not supporting it.
I mean, it's not that he's not, but he's just been really squirrely about it.
Okay, right.
And
word salad.
Right, and so I think there are a number of folks that have felt a way about that, and also paying attention to, well, who is supporting these candidates? And so just looking at the most recent reporting of some of the biggest donors of these campaigns, a lot of people uncomfortable, with Tom Steyer, spending, well over $160 million in ads and other support for his campaign. But folks also don't feel great about Chevron investing well over $3 million in Javier Becerra's campaign. Meta and Google somewhere around $1 million. Talk to us, Jared, about the extent to which this race for California governor is about a steady hand versus a change agent.
Yeah, Dominic, I said to you the other day that I got we've been getting all of these, mailings from the different candidates for the various different ways that they want to encourage us to vote. And I got the one from Auntie Maxine that said, hey, this is my sample ballot. These are the people that I'm endorsing. And I saw that she was endorsing Javier Becerra. And I said, well, that puts him at least at number 3 for me, or number 2 maybe. But that's not going to make him like my candidate, because it's probably going to be too establishment, right? Like, I'm going to need somebody further to the left. And so as you talk about things with Tom Steyer and like the uncomfortability of voting for him, when I'm thinking about the strategy of hoping that we get 2 Democrats or 2 people on the left, that was how I made my decision. I was like, okay, well, it looks like Becerra has a good chance of being number 1. We're a 1-point split between Hilton and Steyer. Steyer, you're going to get this primary vote, but we're going to see what that means for us in the election cycle, right? How can we pull Becerra to the left if we are able to get that two people on the top of the ticket? And so I think that's a very real thing, that when I'm looking at his history on various different things, I'm like, I don't love this idea of Tom Steyer, but if this is the most left thing that we can get in this two-person race, then I'll take it.
You know, and P-Rod 1005 on the YouTube channel agrees with y'all, particularly Dominique, saying that a Republican making one of the two slots is playing a very dangerous game, and also saying that Katie Porter Katie Porter did what she did to Barbara Lee. Some people are just still not happy about that. This referring to when Katie Porter was running for that Senate seat, even though there was another woman in the race, Barbara Lee. And
even though that Senate seat was more or less promised to a black woman by the governor.
Right. And so P-Rod kept his receipts.
Well, that's Paul. Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's so many factors in play, and I think that's one of the reasons why people are overwhelmed, and kind of this election feels weird. Like, I'm really nervous. I feel nervous because there's so many wild cards here. You asked Jarrett about predictions. I mean, I think I'm interested in that from you and from Jarrett. I've already predicted. I think that we're more likely to have a Bass Pratt, but shoot, we could have Ramen Pratt. We could have Bass Ramen. I mean, it's one of those things that could go any way. I'm thinking it's going to be the mayor and the MAGA, but we'll see. And then on the gubernatorial side, I do think it's going to be sadly. Becerra and Hilton, although Steyer could eke it out. And of course, we're forgetting about Butch Ware. His people have been trolling me on Instagram because I endorsed on Instagram something I am not permitted to do on these airwaves.
Okay, all right. We're gonna leave that there. You are listening to and streaming our special KBLA Talk 1580.
You just gonna dodge those predictions. You and Jared are both gonna dodge.
No, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. When we come forward, we're gonna share some predictions with Dominique and each and every one of you. And also for the folks in the chat, weigh in. What are your predictions on election night here? This is your special KBLA Talk 1580 coverage. More when we come forward.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to our KBLA Talk 1580 special live election night coverage. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Cortez. She is Dominique DePrima, and also joining us is the Jared Hill. Really trying to, make whatever we can make sense on this very big night for the people of California, a very big night for so many states across the country. Before the break, Dominique, you were asking for predictions.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to allow Brother Jarrett to go first in sharing his predictions. But first, let me just shout out Yogi Fish on the YouTube channel, who's predicting for the LA mayor's race is going to be Pratt and Bass.
Okay, and by the way, if you want to jump in that chat, you go to KBLA 1580 on YouTube, and you can get into the comment section. That's for your mind.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Jarrett, what say you?
I'm never in the business of making predictions, but if you're going to put me on the spot because I'm on the mic, I would say I would expect it for the mayor's race in Los Angeles. I would expect it would be Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt. I'm going to lean into the optimism and say that we get a Steyer-Becerra governor's race.
I love that.
I am going to agree with you, and I've actually been saying this for well over a couple months, that I think as a native Californian,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I know I've been, in D.C. for a long time, the past almost 10 years, but I've been back in the state frequently. I have family here, friends here, deep roots here. My sense is that if the people of California that I know show up at the polls,
that's the key,
right? Then I think this is going to be a Becerra-Steyer race heading into November.
I hope you guys are right, because that, to me, that's a fun race.
And I think it's a race that will pull Becerra further to the left. I think it's a race that will allow Democrats to interrogate some very substantive issues, some major issues that are consequential, not just for Democrats here in California, but across the country. It is going to be a preview of 2028 if we see a contest between Becerra and Steyer.
I hope so. And I hope that it teaches Democrats what I've been saying, not for months, but for years, is that we need to get out of this trying to please the supposed moderate Republicans and the supposedly mythical soccer moms and independent voters, and play to our base and deal with where the energy is in the Democratic Party, which is with the progressive, young and old, but mostly young progressive wing of the party. That's where the energy is. That's where the justice is. That's where the wins are. But we want to keep running after Liz Cheney.
Well, let me tell you where the energy go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
I would want to kind of affirm what both of you are saying. I think the idea that we end up with a Becerra-Steyer gives us a great opportunity to see how far to the left we can push it, right? But I think if we get a Becerra Hilton race, I think that also paints a picture for us of how stark this thing can get. Right? That was if we get a if we get a Becerra Hilton, that might say to me that people weren't fired up enough to come out and vote. Right? It might say to me that like we still got more work to do to get people energized to see the seriousness of this moment. And so I think that I would love to see Becerra and Steyer, but I think we might see anything. We never know.
Yeah, I want to go back to something that Adrian Shropshire sort of shined a light on earlier this hour, how there were a number of heavyweights here in California that did not weigh in on the gubernatorial race. And I'm just wondering, do y'all think that there will be a price to pay for that? I'm talking about former Vice President Kamala Harris. No. She did not endorse in the governor's race. I'm not sure if Nancy Pelosi endorsed in the governor's race. These are, household names throughout California.
They're not going to pay a price. Why would they pay a price? Everyone who they, if it's down to Becerra and Steyer and they endorse in the general, then they endorsed. You know what I mean? What do you say, Jarrett?
I would agree. I think that there was so many candidates that, unless everybody was rallied around one person, it was going to make it really difficult for someone to then transition that. But I think also, I don't know how useful these endorsements are right now when the race is so wide open with so many candidates.
Yeah, I mean, but there are people who say, well, maybe if folks endorse, maybe it wouldn't be so, wide open, right? There wouldn't be so many candidates.
But I expect them to jump in now. I mean, it's kind of the move that President Barack Obama really championed, which is, hold off until the general election. He did that a lot. He didn't endorse early, let them fight it out and endorse one of them.
How do you feel about Joe Biden not having endorsed? What do you make of that?
I was going to say I don't know what difference that would make, but I think that's for my vote versus the general public. I think the general public would like to see that kind of endorsement, but I also don't know that this is the time for those folks to be jumping into this race. I have very mixed feelings about how the endorsements should be looking around primaries. My feelings are all over the place on that.
I want to just point out real quick here, the city attorney's race, of course, this is really, really early, but Marissa Roy is leading, and it's significant because the conservative votes come in first, and she, of course, is a more progressive candidate coming out of the Attorney General's office. John McKinney, though, the Nathan Hawkman endorsed conservative, is in second place in this early polling, and the sitting city attorney is polling third and 16 points below Marissa Roy.
In school.
I'm looking forward to considering any additional suggestions there are.
It comes as Governor Kathy Hochul proposes limiting laptop and iPad use for elementary students during class. Community groups in Dayton, Ohio are calling for unity after a violent weekend left one person dead and others hurt in several shootings. Dayton's NAACP president wants the city to expand its violence interruption program, while Racial Justice Now says gun violence should be treated as a public health crisis. And star sprinter Clara Adams, who is black, is suing the California Interscholastic Federation after being stripped of her gold medal last year. Adams won the MVP. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The $10 Gotta Have It meal deal. Swing by for half a Santa Barbara char, a 5-piece chicken bites, your choice of a select side, and a drink. All for a fresh price. The $10 Gotta Have It meal deal. Have it. Fresh like that. Limited time only. Price and participation varies. Tax extra. Terms at habitburger.com.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader. If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Yeah, it's for the people.
This is street radio for unsung hero. Riding in the Rego, trying to stay legal. My daughter found Nemo, I found a new primo. Yeah, you know how we do it for the people and the struggle of the brothers and the folks, the lovers of the dope. Experiment to discover hope, scuffle for notes. The rougher I wrote, times was harder. Went from rock starter to the voice of a martyr. Why white folk focus on dogs and yoga? My people on the low end trying to ball and get over. Lyrics are like liquor for the fallen soldier. From the bounce to the ounce, it's all our culture. Every day we hustling, trying to get them customers. Law, we ain't trusting them. Thick bras, we lusting them. Sick and tired of punching it. I look on the bus at them. When I see them struggling, I think I'm touching them. The people.
About the people. About the people. Just about the people. About the people.
This is radio for unsung hero.
You are listening to and streaming our special KBLA Talk 1580 election night coverage. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, host of A More Perfect Union right here on KBLA Talk 1580 weekdays, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. and afternoon drive time. But you get your day started with the marvelous, talented, legendary.
All right.
Dominique
Checks in the mail.
Dominique DePrima, the host of First Things First. We are having a ball, really sort of tracking the election night returns. This is a big night for the people of California who are in a mood. The people of California are in a mood. A lot of folks with a lot of tight faces around some of our choices for various offices, having to decide, whether or not we're going to vote to be taxed even more. And speaking of some of those tax measures, one of the big measures that folks have been organizing around is Measure ER. We know one of the direct results of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill was cuts to the Medicaid program. Cuts to community health services, community clinics. And so we've got to fill that deficit of dollars. And so that's why Measure ER is on the ballot here in Los Angeles County. Dominique, can you tell us, how are things looking at 9:05 p.m. Pacific on Measure ER?
Right now, Measure ER is not doing well. It's down. I don't have it right in front of me right here, but it's down at least 7 points. Of course, these are early results, and I'll say it again, the conservatives vote first. But this is a pretty significant deficit it will have to overcome. This would be really bad news for, it's losing 53% to 46% right now.
Yeah.
And, everyone who relies on Medi-Cal for those who are, lower resourced, that's bad news for them because the Trump big ugly bill cuts are not going to be offset by our tax dollars. And so that means those folks will be without care. But again, it's still early, so hopefully this means that, this is one of those things that could turn around. This is one of those measures we could be counting for days, I guess.
And it's also important to point out something that you've been saying all night, which is that right now in terms of the early returns, these are the people who voted early. These are folks who have a tendency to be older. They have a tendency to be more conservative. You mentioned that the ballot that Republicans were filling out was, it seemed to be a bit simpler than the Democratic ballot. And so this is a test. This is a test of that. You also have been tracking the LA County Sheriff's race. And it looks like Sheriff Luna, who's running for re-election, is performing well, but there's something that surprised you.
Well, I can't say it surprised me. It jarred me. In second place right now is Villanueva. The sheriff's got like 46%, and Villanueva's tracking around 24%. Of course, again, early voting, so it doesn't really mean anything as far as final results. But if that holds, that would be really a very, very, very conservative outcome in the sheriff's race. The incumbent as the front runner, and then the recently reconverted to Republican MAGA former sheriff Villanueva in second place. Well, you want to talk about a race turning right in the runoff. That would be an example of that.
And this is just a reminder that the sheriff's race, it really matters. It matters deeply. Who controls law enforcement in Los Angeles County? It touches the lives of black and brown communities every single day. In particular, Alex Villanueva, he was a controversial figure whose tenure was marked by conflict with the Board of Supervisors and allegations of misconduct.
And targeting journalists, let us not forget that.
That's right. And Robert Luna beat him. And now Villanueva is back. And so tonight, California voters are making a lot of big decisions, also deciding on 8 of the 15 LA City Council seats. And just a reminder, City Council, that's where policy is made, where zoning decisions happen, where budgets are passed, and really where the futures of our neighborhoods are decided. And so, it seems to me, that the electorate is in a mood. How would you describe the mood of the California electorate versus the electorate in other states that have recently had primaries, like Georgia, like Texas?
I don't track those other states as closely as you do. I was, of course, happy to see Keisha Lance Bottoms with a chance at becoming the first black woman governor ever in the history of the United States in Georgia. But I think the California electorate is fed up on the left and the right. The right, they're on this, we need an outsider. We need a reality TV star or a Fox News host who has never held public office, because that worked out really well nationally. And then on the left, people I'm tired of the same old milquetoast Democrats. I hear that more citywide, statewide. I'm hearing that Becerra is actually a nice relief from the sort of flashy Gavin Newsom kind of high-profile governor, that people are looking for someone to sort of put their head down and work.
Yeah. I know there are some folks in the chat that are asking, where's Adrienne Shropshire? Adrienne is going out to the field, and she is going to phone in with any exciting updates. So Adrienne Shropshire is with us in spirit at the moment.
Where is she though? She's at election parties.
Can we say where
she's at election parties?
I was trying to mind my business. I was trying to mind my business.
But I mean, she's gonna call us from there, so I'm pretty sure she doesn't mind it being public information.
Okay, all right, there you have it. She's on her way to a party.
Yeah, there's election parties all over the city. I feel like they're going to be a little bit anticlimactic, since we're not going to really get results tonight unless there's a runaway race. I think some of them may be pretty sad, but right now they're going to be inconclusive parties. The best, the best parties, the best watch parties are when somebody knows they won, and then the champagne starts flowing. That's when it gets fun.
And look, I'm looking in the YouTube chat, and I want to encourage folks to go to our KBLA YouTube channel. You can not just listen to us, but you can watch us there, and you can hop into the group chat where folks are weighing in. And Yoki Fish is saying the same thing that you're saying, Dominique, which is that people are tired of the stagnation on the Democratic side of the aisle and the Republican side of the aisle.
Yeah, again, Yogi Fish weighs in on my show, First Things First, weekday mornings, and so I'm a little bit familiar, and I think he's more disaffected from both parties, and a lot of people are too. They want to switch to Working Families Party or Green Party or no party affiliation. But I'm also saying that within the Democratic Party, I think people are tired of sort of the corporate candidates, and folks are tired of being told this is the most important election of your life and you have to vote for the mainstream corporate Democrat or else, the world will end.
Now, Dominique, what do you make of this? NBC News is reporting that Democrat Antonio Villaraigosa, our former mayor of LA, has conceded in the California gubernatorial race tonight, saying, quote, "It didn't turn out the way we hoped." He went on to say that California is at an inflection point, and our representatives and my party need to start taking these challenges seriously so that we can once again make California the envy of the nation and the globe. Villaraigosa didn't concede to any specific candidate. He was one of 8 candidates in the crowded primary field. And currently
8 candidates, they must not have looked at the ballot. I
think they're referring to, like, the candidates that polled the highest.
Okay, but that's not how many. But there were 25 candidates for governor. You filled out.
I think there were 61, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 61.
Higher than I can count.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. These mainstream media organizations decide that there's 3 candidates or 4 or 8 when there's 61, right? And so even if you got 0.1%, you're still a candidate. If you got your name on there, you're still a candidate if you wrote it in.
Yeah.
I think that Villaraigosa this is not his first rodeo. And he knows that right now everybody needs something to talk about because we have no final results. So if he concedes, his whatever point he wants to make will get some traction, just like it's doing right now. I think he would have been a great, governor. He certainly has the experience, more experience than most people running, but he never got traction.
He didn't shy away from is talking about how the consultant class is preventing the party from really meeting the moment. As you know, there are a lot of consultants that make a lot of money off of these elections, particularly when it comes to ad buys. And one of the points that former Mayor Villaraigosa made is that we've become a party, the Democrats have become a party that's not knocking on doors anymore. In fact, a lot of consultants will say you can't knock on enough doors to win. You've got to go on air.
Yeah, I don't know where these folks come from. I really feel like a lot of these people, like you say, they might as well be from advertising agencies, marketing agencies. They don't, I don't think they help at all. Their pulse isn't on the people. Their pulse is on image and, probability rather than any kind of greater good, what's best for the people, what the people want, what the country needs. I mean, I'm generalizing, but that's how I see it. How do you see it?
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think that, we have an opportunity to lean into a little bit of a radical imagination about our future. And I think the Democratic Party has been able to win races. Not all the races they're in, but they've been able to win races running against Trump, running against MAGA. And I think part of what voters are saying in this moment is that's not enough.
It's lazy.
Right? And so voters are challenging all candidates to step up their game. We'll see tonight, based on the results, if any of these candidates meet the moment. You are listening to and streaming our special election night coverage. More when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA! Yeah, man!
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
We are not Tavis
This is
Smiley.
my Tavis Smiley impression. If I complained, I'd be an ingrate.
You are listening
He's
to
here in spirit.
Always. You're listening to and streaming our special KBLA Talk 1580 election night coverage. We are live in studio. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, joined with the wonderful Dominique DePrima. And right now, at this very moment, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is speaking to supporters at her election night event. We're going to go to that live. Take a listen.
County and thereby also LA City.
And she just got off.
Well, she was fired up. She sounded fired up. She sounded confident. I feel like maybe she's looking at the same voter tallies I'm looking at, which are showing her, it's early, but it's showing her with a pretty solid lead. So maybe they're getting even more data than what we're seeing. I don't know, but she definitely sounded confident.
She did, and it's also worth noting, that immigrants make up more than 35% of the population here in LA, and we know that Mayor Bass really rose up to defend them after federal agents in armored vehicles escalated raids on city workplaces. This was last year in search of undocumented people. And when residents protested, of course, the White House deployed thousands of federal troops in the city. You remember that standoff.
How can we forget?
And so, I think for as much disappointment as there's been with the mayor in terms of handling of the LA wildfires, particularly in the Pacific Palisades, I think there are a number of folks that saw the mayor sort of show up and fight back against the administration, particularly our immigrant community. And so it's going to be interesting to see where they land tonight and whether or not they vote to reward the mayor with a second term.
Yeah, it's always interesting because our city can be very divided, and people go into their ethnic corners. But we'll see how that plays out tonight in the mayor's race. It's going to be very interesting to see how she does with Latino voters, how she does with African American voters, and if she continues to hold on to the lead that we're seeing right now. Dr. Nicordelai Corte, you do spend a lot of time in Washington. You spend more time tracking these national races than I do, although I do my best. Iowa had a primary today, and was the result there surprising?
Iowa did have quite a race today that people are paying extra close attention to, and rightfully so. I think what was so interesting to me is that the Democratic nominee there is wheelchair bound and is standing to make a little bit of history. But just a moment ago, we tried to bring you Mayor Bass live, and we just missed her. But Steve Hilton is speaking right now. We want to hear what he's talking about, because this is somebody who might make it into the top two.
A little bit. We want to hear a little bit.
We're going to hear a little bit.
We already know what he's talking about. He sat in here for an hour with Tavis. No, let's check it out.
when it's confirmed that we're in the top two. And that's really the most important thing we'll be looking for, is the gap between my vote and the vote of the person who's in the third place, because that's the only thing that really matters, that people in California have a chance to vote for change in November. 56% of Californians, according to a poll that just came out, the California Post had this at the end of last week, 56% of people in this state I think Ali mentioned it, maybe it's 57, so she spoke about that earlier. I know we can maybe quibble over the numbers, but it's clearly a majority of Californians want change. They say the state is going in the wrong direction. The most important thing is that in the general election in November, Californians have the chance to vote for change, to make a clear choice between continuing down the same road we've been going the last 16 years of one-party rule by the Democrats, or actually going in a new direction towards more common sense, practical policies, like the things I've been laying out in my campaign. Your first $100,000 tax-free, $3 gas, cut your electric bills in half, a home you can afford to buy, positive, practical things that will make our state Cal-affordable.
Cal-affordable.
Okay, that's cute. Fox. It's very Fox. But one thing I do want to really, really point out, because I think it's already starting to impact electoral politics, is something he said, the California Post. I'm starting to see that tracking with our local news coverage. I'm starting to see people like him quoting it. The California Post is a new outpost of the New York Post, which is a very far right-wing, Donald Trump supporting rag. I'm going to call it a rag because really they are very, 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 they have a lot of salacious stories. You know, it's borderline National Enquirer, but they also have a lot of serious news. And they consistently do hit jobs on anybody left, particularly women of color. They hate the squad. And so I just want to point that up to people. When people quote the California Post, know what you're getting. It's not a regular paper. It's not a it's not a fact-based journal for the most part.
Yeah. It's worth noting at this hour, about 35% of the vote has been counted in the California governor's race. New York Times is reporting that Javier Becerra leads Steve Hilton, the Republican, by under 1 point. Democrat Tom Steyer is a distant third, 6 points behind Becerra. Most of the votes that have been reported so far have been from mail-in ballots received before Election Day. This is a very important point you've been making all evening.
Yep.
For Steyer to emerge in the top two, he's going to need to make substantial gains among Election Day voters and mail-in voters who sent their ballots in later, because that's where he's going to make up ground. And so that is a part of the reason why it may take a few days for us to get a decisive win in terms of who makes it into the top two. But you better believe people are tracking this race very, very, very closely. James Chang, a volunteer for Tom Steyer's campaign, was seen sporting some campaign swag and a baseball cap embroidered with the phrase "class traitor." This is a volunteer for Tom Steyer. And so, talk to us just about, the mood of California voters, whether you're talking about the race for mayor, where, folks are, angry with the incumbent. Some people, not all people, but some folks.
There's
in some
a lot.
parts
Yeah,
of
there are a
time.
lot of people that were going out of their way to go in and vote for the incumbent. So let's make that clear. I don't think we want to fall into that narrative, but I understand what you're saying, because you're referring to the fires and
That's
you're
right.
referring, and I was talking about it on my show this morning. It reminds me of Paul Mooney. He had the 1-800-BLAME-A-N-word, and I think that our mayor is paying the black tax in a sense, because while in the governor's race, everyone's talking about we need a steady hand, we need someone with lots of experience on a state level, local and national. That conversation is not happening in the mayor's race. But yet, at the same time, the anger, the anger is not translating into the governor's race either. No one's angry at Becerra for being, a member of the Biden administration. I do think Steyer is catching some fire for being a billionaire. billionaires are just not super popular right now with the majority of voters. But I think the mood, it's really hard to say. I think that's why it's nerve-wracking, Dr. Nicolai Corte, because we really won't know until probably next week what the mood of the voters is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we end up with, Hilton and Bianco and Pratt in the general election, then we'll know the voters have gone crazy.
We have Tom Steyer talking right now. We want to go to that sound. This is California Democratic gubernatorial candidate Tom Steyer. Take a listen.
And honoring that sacrifice is fundamental to assigning credit and to designing our society. This race, more than any other in recent memory, laid bare the basic operating principle of American politics, a very uncomfortable truth. Money talks. In this race, we saw what corporate money tends to ask for: higher rents, lower wages, permission to pollute, to price gouge, and to treat workers as disposable. And in this race, we saw the way that money from some of the wealthiest people and corporations in the history of the world, mobilized when I said I'd tax it fairly. We saw a direct causal relationship between my plan for change and the $55 million of corporate money that's flooded in to stop me. Single-payer health care? Here come the insurance companies. Clean energy? Here comes Chevron. Taxing AI? What about Meta? Lowering electric bills? Hello, PG&E. To quote FDR, never before in all our history have these forces
You're listening to billionaire Tom Steyer.
You are listening to Tom Steyer, who is laying out the tenets of his campaign for governor. It is too soon to know whether or not he may make up ground and make it into the top two. Remember, early vote-by-mail ballots are the ones that are being counted first. For folks like me, who voted just yesterday, our ballots are not counted first. And so that's important to note. You are listening to and streaming our live KBLA election night coverage. More with Dominique DePrima. And y'all get into the YouTube chat and sound off. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Why does Tavis...
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. New York City Mayor Mamdani is not ruling out screen time limits for students in school.
I'm looking forward to considering any additional suggestions there are.
It comes as Governor Kathy Hochul proposes limiting laptop and iPad use for elementary students during class. Community groups in Dayton, Ohio are calling for unity after a violent weekend left one person dead and others hurt in several shootings. Dayton's NAACP president wants the city to expand its violence interruption program, while Racial Justice Now says gun violence should be treated as a public health crisis. And star sprinter Clara Adams, who is black, is suing the California Interscholastic Federation after being stripped of her gold medal last year. Adams won the 400-meter state final at 16, but was disqualified for briefly spraying her shoes with a fire extinguisher during her celebration. The move drew protest from the NAACP. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Head to Waba Grill weekdays after 3 p.m. for their $5 happy hour and try their new Chili Crisp dumplings. Bold, crunchy, and tossed in a fiery crisp, paired with a premium Waba beverage drink like their authentic Thai tea. Get both for just $5 only at Waba Grill. It's for you.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Hi, I'm Chris Holden, former California Assembly member, former Mayor of Pasadena, and CEO of LA Fire Justice. I've spent my career fighting for our communities. When I saw Edison celebrating $4.5 billion in profits while Eaton fire survivors struggled to make ends meet, it made me simultaneously sick and furious. Families and individuals are dealing with financial pressure, insurance delays, costly remediation, and the painful question of how to rebuild their lives, while the utility that caused the fire is paying its executives millions and is more profitable than ever. That's not justice, that's a disgrace. Join the lawsuit with LA Fire Justice to hold Edison accountable. We're here to help you, your family, and our community recover. Visit lafirejustice.com today to learn more about your eligibility and how to start.
Advertisement. Douglas Boxer, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all did it!
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA! Yeah, man!
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Should I go live on Instagram? Since we're on YouTube and Facebook and every other where.
Go ahead and do it. Do it, Dominique.
All right. Do it.
You are listening to and streaming our special KBLA Election Night coverage. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte. She is Dominique DePrima. Also joining us from election night at Mayor Bass's election night celebration, Adrian Shropshire, the host of the Black Pack right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Adrian, you there?
I am.
And so, Adrian, you let us know if we can get Mayor Bass's attention. The people would love to hear from her on this election night if she's available. I want to draw attention to something that our colleague James Farr, the host of Conversations Live, Altadena Rising, pointed out. He said West Altadena has historically had an 80% voter turnout. People were talking about fire relief and recovery, the $2.5 billion that Newsom hasn't released to survivors with no strings attached. And the California Insurance Commissioner's race, he pointed out that Steyer actually spent more time on the ground in Altadena. His prediction is Becerra versus Steyer. Let's talk about this insurance race because, there are a number of families across the state of California, particularly in Altadena and the Palisades, that are being given the runaround by insurance companies.
Yeah.
This is an important race. This could determine whether or not people decide to return to Altadena or not.
Suddenly we're paying attention to it is what it is. I think it's always been an important race. What I'm getting from LA County is that Jane Kim is ahead. This is the person that was actually, touted by most of the progressive slates, although Ben Allen, who is polling second here, was also had a lot of those progressive endorsements. Senator Steve Bradford is pretty far down in this tally, but again, Senator Steve Bradford, a champion of reparations, and also, an experienced lawmaker who is a fighter. Again, this is early. Your thoughts, Adrian?
Well, I'm actually here with the mayor.
Oh, amazing!
And I wanted to give an opportunity. The event was incredible, packed with folks, excitement everywhere. But I got a chance to pull the mayor aside, so I want to give her an opportunity to talk with you.
Perfect,
Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor,
hello.
Good
Madam
evening.
Mayor, the people of Los Angeles are listening to you live on the airways. How are you feeling this election night?
Well, let me just tell you, I am feeling terrific. But votes are still being counted, and but so far it looks good. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited that Angelenos turned out, that they understand that we have laid an incredible foundation to move forward, to get our people off the street, to make our streets safe, to make sure there's jobs and business opportunities for members of our community. And so I'm glad that they heard our message.
I think that, we were listening to you making your speech, Madam Mayor, and you sounded very exuberant and very confident. And my question was, does she know something we don't know?
Well, no, I don't think I know anything that you don't know. But what I do know is that I'm ahead by significant numbers. And so that makes me feel good.
And that's particularly significant, I would think, since our early voters tend to be more conservative in Los Angeles. Is that accurate?
Well, I think so. That was accurate about an hour ago, but I think we're past those votes now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Madam Mayor, I've got to ask a question that's on the minds of so many people, not just here in L.A., but across the country following this race. A lot of people wondering, how is this race even this close, considering, Spencer Pratt, reality TV star, has never, had a job in government. Nithya Raman, never really seen the traction, certainly the confidence among folks across the city. Why is this election this close in your view?
Well, I don't think it's that close. I'm not sure what returns you're looking at, but I don't think it's that close at all. And I know we have many more votes to go, but we do know that the whole MAGA machine threw down behind Spencer. And his popularity was national because he tapped into that MAGA base.
Yeah.
Not to mention their money. I mean, that's,
Exactly.
that's a story we haven't talked about a lot. Actually, from the results I'm looking at, it's a lot less close than what we were seeing in polling. Does that surprise you?
No, actually, I'm very happy so far. We still have a lot more to go, but so far it's headed in the right direction. And I'm ready to face Spencer Pratt if that's the way it turns out. Nithya is quite far behind, so I don't know if she's really going to catch up into number two. But I'm ready to take on whoever is number two.
And Madam Mayor, we were talking about how today it's a lot about consultants and social media and all of these things, but I feel like you kind of went back to the door-knocking playbook, the community coalition sort of days of organizing. Is that true, or what do you think was the secret to you getting out the vote here?
Well, first of all, I didn't go back to it. You know, that's fundamental who I am. And
never
so
left
we
it.
continued that. No, even I'm telling you, even if I was running unopposed, I would still run a grassroots campaign because it's an opportunity to involve voters, to educate voters, and to get people involved in the political arena, especially young people. And I'm particularly proud that we had Youth for Bass. We had a vibrant high school and college age contingent of young people that were very active in this campaign from day one, just like we did 4 years ago. So, you know, to me, this is consistent with how I've led my entire life.
Wow. Well, you know, Madam Mayor, you know, we have been watching this race very, very closely. Folks across the country have been watching this race very, very closely. You know, there's a lot at stake for this city. You know, we know that the federal government under this administration has had LA in its crosshairs. Is that something that you worry about if somehow, some way, not just in the LA mayor's race, but in some other key races across the state, if you have inexperienced folks that are elected in this particular climate, do you worry about that?
Well, let me just tell you that right now I'm just focused on this race, period. But you know, since I've been involved nationally, no. I mean, you know, we united here. We fought back against the administration, and I'm prepared to do that again, especially as we enter into the anniversary of the assault on our city. I'm going to have to go back up and meet my supporters, but thank you all very much.
Thank you for taking the time out.
KBLA for LA.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You are listening to and streaming our live election night coverage. That was the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, who is performing quite well against the polls. There were a lot of polls that said that this race is going to be tighter than what it is turning out to be. We heard a very confident and buoyant Mayor Bass. And when we come forward, more insights and analysis right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Disagree without disrespect. Make your point and keep it pushing.
Let's do this.
Listen and learn or talk and teach. Talking and listening around the clock. KBLA Talk 1580.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Find a righteous rage, and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, they're over there.
You are listening to and streaming our special election night coverage here on KBLA Talk 1580. We are live.
We're really, really live, like microphones juggling, all kinds of. This is what you call on the fly, baby.
We are. And we're joined with Dr. Melina Abdullah. She is the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. And she is also the co-host of This Is Not a Drill.
And she's party hopping right now. I'm jealous.
She's over at the Working Families Party, working it out on the dance floor. No, really. Dr. Melina.
She got moves. Don't even play. She got moves, especially if
I know she does. She's from the Bay. She's from the Bay. She's from the Bay. You know, she's a Howard alum.
Baby.
Like, I already know. What are you seeing? What are you seeing at the Working Families Party right now, Dr. Melina?
Well, we are really, really excited that Jane Kim seems to be pulling it out as insurance commissioner, which is, I know that we hadn't been until recent years paying attention to the insurance commissioner's race, but with everything that's happened with these fires and the ways in which politicians are often in the pockets of corporations, including the insurance companies that they're supposed to be regulating, we're really excited about Jane Kim. Seems to be pulling it out as insurance commissioner. Some of the things that she's pledged is things like a right to insurance, publicly funded insurance. Can we have that? Those are the things that she's looking at. And we're seeing a lot of Working Families Party candidates winning, which speaks to the column that I wrote last week was about voting your values. You know, we voted our values when we voted for Jane Kim. Those who voted for Kenneth Mejia, we are voting our values, and he is overcoming that $6.5 million.
$7.5.
Oh, it went up.
It went up. Mama's
week,
got
right?
deep pockets. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
$7.5 million. So he's winning. That was we could have done a lot with that $7.5 million.
He's winning by a lot so far. And again, the early votes tend to be more conservative. So that's a really good sign for Mejia. I can't say who I supported, but some people supported Steve Bradford because he's African-American.
Yeah.
He's been a champion of reparations, but he doesn't look like he's doing well in that race at all.
Yeah.
At least as far as early voting.
And it's a statewide race. And we know that, Steve Bradford's districts have been based here in the L.A. area. And so sometimes that's difficult for folks to be able to compete statewide. But we're also joined with our friend here, Jason Green. He is the author of Too Precious to Lose. It is what I'm going to call a New York best-selling book. We're going to make it that way. I'm co-hosting a book talk for him tomorrow in Culver City, so you can go onto my IG and RSVP for that. But Jason Green is also an alumni of the Obama administration. He worked in the Office of General Counsel in the Obama administration. And, connect the dots for us in terms of, why it's so important that California gets it right tonight in the governor's race, in the mayor's race, considering how hostile this White House has been to the Golden State.
You're seeing it in both elections. I mean, both elections have candidates that are on the ballot because of Donald Trump. And what I just heard, this idea of leading with your values, I mean, it gives us such an opportunity to lead and put candidates in positions to be successful that are representing, the electorate in a way that we haven't seen in a while. We have people that have been sort of parroting political talking points, but able to say these are the values that we stand for and stand on, and give your electorate a means to go to the polls and feel like they're voting for something rather than voting against something.
Yes, please.
It really gives us an opportunity to then show that across the country. People are watching right now.
Dr. Nee keeps bringing this up.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we seeing the early endorsements? Why didn't Biden endorse Becerra? Why didn't Kamala Harris endorse in the governor's race? You've been inside these presidential conversations as a special assistant. What do you make of that?
I think right now we need to lead from the bottom up. We really do.
Ooh, is that Jason's way of saying don't look for the establishment? Don't
Well,
look for folks at the top.
Well, in so many respects, we're in this change period, right? People are saying that we're in an era of change. I think that we are in a change of era. And so why wait? Why do we need that endorsement? Right?
I mean, in a sense, what I'm taking from what you said is the endorsement could hurt more than it helps.
I think that you're seeing that, but I also think that, in every consideration, I'm telling people not to sit on their hands, not to wait and see. But and this is the point that I'm making on the values piece. If you can say, "Oh, this is what you stand for," then let me get and stand behind those people that stand for what I believe in.
We want to thank Dr. Melina Abdullah. She's back on the dance floor. Thank you so much, Dr. Abdullah, for joining us this evening. It's much appreciated.
That's right. Well,
thank y'all. All right.
Thank you. And so, in our remaining minutes, this has been quite an election night. It is an election night unlike many that we have covered before because there isn't a decisive winner. It's almost 10 p.m. Pacific time.
But can I ask a real quick question before you wrap? Because we do have a few minutes. I want to ask Jason, do you see any trends? Because I think Dr. Corte is right. We haven't seen any drama as oh my gosh, somebody won in the primary and there'll be no runoff. We haven't seen any of those shockers. Do you see any trends?
Oh, I'm not ready to make any news.
Okay.
Not yet. I mean, I'll ask it back to you. Are you seeing trends in the data? I mean, you're seeing the numbers roll in right now.
What I'm seeing is that if you're very online and you watch a lot of local TV, you think that California is drifted much further to the right than it actually has.
That's right.
In fact, I think we are going in the opposite direction based partly on what Dr. Abdullah was saying. Working parties candidates, the progressive movement in City Hall here in Los Angeles. I think we're going the other way.
Do you think that some of the news of the last few weeks has been drumming up the suggestion that things are shifting further to the right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the Pratt AI ads. It's the constant. Now we have the California Post with their New York Post style right-wing headlines, and so I think people get in this mindset and they start believing the news. They start believing what's online, and they don't talk to the people.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that former L.A. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa shared with me. I had a chance to be in conversation with him about a week ago while he was still in the race for governor, and we were talking about the consultant class. And, this has been my rant for quite a minute, and it has been deepened by the DNC autopsy report, if you want to call it that. Really, it was more of a draft that was released. But, one of my big takeaways from that draft, one of my big takeaways from a number of these races is that, if we're talking about this appetite not just for change, but for a change of era, as you say, then that means we've got to shake up the consultant class. And it's going to take more than just folks showing up at the polls. It's going to take donor activists, people who write big checks that really write those checks with a different sort of mandate. Jason, talk to us about, how do we disrupt the consultant class? You've worked very closely with many of them. I'm sure a number of them are, friends of ours, right? But they shouldn't have such a grip on the party. They shouldn't have such a grip on which candidates
if more people lose,
are chosen.
If more people lose, they'll lose their jobs.
Will they?
I think that's right.
But will
no,
they?
that's not. That's not right.
Sure.
It's
I'm not. Well,
are they bulletproof? I mean, are they
Back on
Teflon?
history. I mean, it seems to be that's where the party defaults to. When you got to replay the playbook, you go back to the consulting class and start again from there. It's just. I mean, that's we stand on that history. But what you're saying gives me hope. Right? What I hear you saying is that in these instances, we're actually breaking through to the voter, right? When the voter is able to sort of stand on their values and vote, despite what the consultant class is saying, despite who the consultant class is picked, that there's actually some breakthrough moments. And so I think those sorts of opportunities, like that will actually break through to say, well, maybe these guys don't have the crystal balls that we thought that they did.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope so. I just think that the Democratic Party is paying the price for listening to too many consultants, going too middle of the road, mealy mouth word salad, and not enough leaning into the progressive wing of our party.
One of the things we were just talking about is the number of events that have taken place in recent weeks that might be animating voters. I want to talk about some of these Supreme Court rulings. The Supreme Court ruling around voting rights. We've seen sort of the rapid redraw of districts by Republican-controlled legislatures, particularly in the South. We're in California. We passed Prop 50. We did what we needed to do, but what happens in the South, it also impacts the direction of our country. And so, any sense of how that VRA ruling is animating voters, not just here in the Golden State, but in key races tonight across the country.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't mean to keep coming back to this idea of voting with your values, but this is also a values point, right? You can make it a legal point, you can make it a VRA point, but at its core, people feel like this is an issue about fairness. This is about rights. This is about fairness. The speed at which that representative rights in Tennessee were taken away, and people, that's incredibly disarming. That's incredibly disorienting for folks, and so they want to say, "Well, I want that. That's gonna move me." People are animated because of it. People are going to the polls because of it. It may not be happening right here in California, but what is happening across the country? You're seeing them vote with their feet. The activations that we're seeing across the country in response. The marches that have happened, and then now it's the hope always was that those marches would then translate into votes. And so what we're hoping tonight is that there's demonstrations of that.
Yeah, and one last thing, I really want us to pay attention to some of the measures that are on the ballot here. One of the measures that we've been looking at is Measure ER. And basically, we know one of the direct impacts of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill have been cuts to health care, cuts to community health in particular. Community health clinics are taking it on the chin. And so this was L.A. County's attempt to try and fill that deficit with this tax that would have kept more community health clinics open, would have kept emergency rooms healthier. Last time we checked, that measure was not winning.
Yeah, so it's bad news for people that rely on Medi-Cal, but it's early, and we've seen, particularly with the measures in past races, huge swings. So this could still win, and I'm banking on that we're going to see some big change by late tomorrow. That's my prediction.
Any final thoughts before we wrap?
I think what people need to understand is that this is the point. Right, all of the chaos, the disruption. You're talking about the attacks on the VRA, other intentional acts of division. The whole point is to get people to stay home. The whole point is to put additional pressure on local systems, to tax, to make sure that dollars are being expended in places that didn't otherwise have to be. And so when people are like, "Oh man, this is terrible," I need to just control my four walls, and I'm going to retract, and I'm not going to vote, and because this is all, I don't know what to do. This is disorienting. That is a win for Donald Trump.
Yeah, like they say online, the cruelty is the point.
It's the point.
The apathy is the point. The discouragement is the point,
and
that's
the whole point.
That's why I'm happy to see California saying, "Nah, we're not going to have two Republicans in the top of the ticket." Nah, guess what? Who's ahead right now in L.A.? Mayor Karen Bass. So apparently we did not stay home.
Apparently, our thanks to everyone who's had a hand in pulling together our special KBLA election night coverage. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer extraordinaire, Brother Andy, to the incredible Dominique DePrima, one of the best in the business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nicolai Corte.
Thank you. Thank you. You can listen to Dominique DePrima's First Things First right here on KBLA Talk 1580. The morning shift.
I'm asleep in here. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Starting at 6 a.m. And then you can listen to me in afternoon drive time from 4 to 6 p.m. Tomorrow. Right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Again, our thanks to Jason G. Green. He is the author of Too Precious to Lose. We're going to be doing a book talk.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Right here in the area. We'll be in Culver City at
the Village Well at 6:30 tomorrow night.
That's right. And so you can go to
jasongreenbook.com, get all the details, get the book, come register for tomorrow's event. Come see the good doctor and me, and we can't wait to be with you.
There you have it. Our thanks to all of you, and thank you for rocking with us. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something.
Amen.
You've been listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks, everybody.
Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me. Back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit theTavisSmileyShow.com. That's theTavisSmileyShow.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. It's election day in some key states, so we're going to crisscross the country and try to squeeze an 80-pound show into a 40-pound bag in our second hour. Two conversations. We'll start here in California. Up first, Sacramento City Council.